All right, so we are back, and today is a very special episode of the W.A.D.E Concept Conversations because it is our first in a series of interviews to come with some of the biggest names on the Showstar card. And we're starting it off hot with one half of the main event, the first ever event in Showstar Boxing's history. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, this is episode 1 of The Road to Showstar. Wassabi. Alex, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here.
Nice. Well, listen, brother, I am so glad to have you on. This is something that we're going to be doing a series of interviews with all of the top names in Showstar Boxing. I had to start it off with the top name from the U.S. Man, I'm excited for a ton of questions here. The first one I want to start with, though, is I want to take everything back to the beginning. Not the Deji fight, not any of the spars you've had in the in-between. Why you started boxing, because I think this is one of the most interesting things about your story, not only as a boxer, but as a YouTuber. And you hear all the time, I started boxing because I wanted to protect myself. I started boxing because I wanted to get in better shape. I started boxing because I didn't have an outlet for my aggression. Yours is for one word, and that's family. Talk to me a little bit about what that is, man, and what that meant to you.
So I started boxing because, well, nobody in my family, I just have a regular family. Like, that's not very common that you have somebody that has combat skills in your family. And there's been instances in my life where I'm like, man, I wish I knew something. I wish I could have done something there. And it's even with friends and girlfriends, there's dangerous situations. This is a dangerous world. And I'm like, man, I want to be ready. If anything does happen, I want to be the guy that can step up for everybody. I'll be like, yo, I got it. You guys, I'll handle this. Let me diffuse this real quick. But if something happens, then I'm ready.
I mean, we can see that by the guns. You ain't got to expose, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to brag while we're on here. We see you with the guns in the new videos, you know what I'm saying? You cut up like a onion, you know what I mean? So let's just
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to have you flex on me, but no, yes. I see you're in fantastic shape. I see you've been working hard at this boxing thing, and not only the reason you got into it is an honorable one, but now we've transitioned from just learning the skills to protect yourself, just learning, to be in shape, to keep in shape, to now fighting. And it's one of the biggest rivalries, I would say, that's really just waiting to be solved, and that is you and Deji. Where did this thing start? And quite frankly, like, how did it start? Because it just seems like it came out of nowhere after years of talking. What happened here?
I think KSI, it started with KSI. He was talking about boxing and who wants to compete, and I was like, I want to compete. And then he laughed. He made a bunch of videos about it, and then his brother just followed his lead like he does. He was just saying the exact same thing that KSI was saying. But since KSI is just a heavy dude, I think he walks around like 200 pounds. That fight will never happen. So the Deji fight makes more sense. So then I started leaning into more like, oh, okay, me and Deji, that can actually happen. Let's do it.
What it does seem like, and I'll let you speak more on this, but even from the beginning of this thing, it seemed like it was more for you about competition, right? I just want to box, I want to compete. Yeah. And on the other side, it does seem like there's some animosity from Deji, right? The way he kind of refers to you, the way he has referred to you in the 3 years that this has been going back and forth. Is there any animosity on your side, or is it just kind of from that end? Because, it's, again, more on competition, what it seems like from you, and then Deji is, coming out with a little bit of the name calling and some other things. What is there real beef here between you two, or what's going on here?
It's like I'm dealing with a little crybaby, and like, not that he's crying, but everybody cries, it's whatever. But he whines a lot, and like when I talk, I'm talking about like facts. I'm talking about observations. I'm talking about boxing. He talks about views and clout and making fun of my voice and things that have nothing to do with boxing. And I don't know. I'm dealing with a little kid. I don't know. I think I'm like 5 years older than him, and it shows.
Listen. You and I are both boomers here. We've been around the game a while. You know what I'm saying? We know how to compose ourselves, and that's kind of goes into my next question, because you're sitting here, man. You're oozing confidence, right? There's not a lot of bravado that you're showing. You're just being you. And I watched you in another interview with, I think it was Mirror Fighting, and I've seen you throughout this build-up just be calm, collected, composed, and almost an air of confidence that I don't know, where's that coming from? Because, again, we haven't seen you fight, right? This is just from the perspective of the fans. We haven't seen you fight. other than a couple of spars and then obviously the thing with Fuzi, and we'll get into that in a second. But where is this confidence coming from? Because you just seem like you are switched on and ready to go.
I mean, my confidence is from just doing everything I need to do. I'm not taking shortcuts. Like, I feel like Deji's life is a shortcut. Like, I don't know like too much about his history, but I'm assuming that he's never had a real job. He's never had to provide. He's never had to push himself. His brother kind of carries the family clout, so he got to YouTube easy. He doesn't put too much effort in his videos, still gets views. He can take 6-7 months off of YouTube and it's fine because his brother will pick up the slack, and then he can jump back on whenever he wants onto the KSI train. So I think that's just his life. He's built so many habits growing up, like taking the shortcut. He doesn't have to really push himself. He doesn't really have to do that. Like in his training footage, you can see he's a shortcut. He takes shortcuts. Like he quits like 3 seconds in. Like, come on, 3 seconds. You could have stayed on for 3 more seconds. He's built a habit of quitting, and once you quit a certain amount of times, it becomes a habit. So your mind, like your brain, he's trained his brain to be like, okay, you don't have to do that much. Okay, you did enough. It's fine. Which is crazy to me. Yeah, so he's just, I think that's just what his life is. It's just a big shortcut.
That's kind of what your confidence is coming from. Not only your preparation, but you look figuratively and literally across the pond, and you see Deji maybe in I guess what we've seen so far, maybe not putting in the work that you have. And really, behind the scenes, let's be honest, you've been putting in this work for, what, a year and a half now without stopping.
Yeah, I mean, I would say more like I've been intense with it for like 6-7 months.
Okay.
Is when I'm like, okay,
do you think in that time,
wake up.
Do you think in that time you have put in more work and dedicated more time and more effort to boxing than Deji has throughout his career?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that he's pushing himself more than he ever has, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because I want him to show up. I want him to be 100%. I don't want any excuses. I want him to be there. I want to have a battle. Like in the previous interview I had, I said I would rather win every round and then win by the decision than to knock him out in the first round. And all the YouTube people that don't know boxing, all the biased like Deji fans are like, "Oh my God, he has no killer instinct. He doesn't want to do this. He's not serious." And I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I'm not a professional boxer. I am a YouTuber, and I'm looking for a battle. Like, I want an epic fight in my life, and I want this to be that. And that for that to happen, I need Deji to show up. So if I do all this training, and I win in the first 30 seconds, or the first minute, or the first round, then it's not really worth it to me. I'm not trying to go 0-50. I'm not trying to be like the best boxer in the world. I just want an epic battle, and I don't want to fight an easy opponent. I want to fight somebody that's going to challenge me, that's going to make me work for the victory.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so I can see how people misinterpret that, but that's just what I want. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was going to give you the opportunity because there's nothing wrong with going in there wanting a war. There's something that, especially, it's almost like euphoric being in there with someone that can match you skill for skill, can match you cardio for cardio, and there's just that it's going to come down to that last round, and whoever wants it more, that is the Rocky-esque type of fight, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that at all.
That's the dream, man.
Of course, nothing wrong with that. And I wanted to talk, because briefly you talked about Deji's training and some of his skills and kind of his motivation. When you watch Deji, not just in training, because yes, we all know that not only him, but anybody in the YouTube boxing scene, there's going to be a ton to work on, right? And I think you could include yourself in that as well. I could include myself. Anybody that gets in there, you're always going to have things to work on. But when you watch Deji, what specifically is it that you're seeing in Deji that you can take advantage of without giving me, obviously, any kind of game plan stuff? What are the things that you look at and right away you go, oh, that's going to get him in trouble?
I mean, it all comes back to mindset. Even so I think in his last 2 fights, I think the plan was probably by his coaches like, hey, don't rush in there. Don't gas out. Think smart. Be technical. Box. Don't scrap. Like, let's not make this a brawl. Let's win the fight the way a boxer box, right?
Right.
I think that's always been the plan, but then he gets in there, he lets his emotions get to him, he lets the excitement get to him, and then he's just like, the plan goes out the window. And I think they're gonna have a plan, but I'm expecting the same thing
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you think he's gonna come forward very quick, explosive first round? Are you ready for something like that possibly?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm ready for anything he does, but I'm assuming he's gonna try to get the first round knockout and be like, yeah, I'm the best. 0-2 fighter, never fought before, no amateur fights. He's gonna come in there and be like, I'm gonna knock you out. It's not easy to knock somebody out. I know
Very good
everybody's
point.
like, oh, I'm so tough, I'm gonna knock somebody out. Even professional boxers have hard times knocking each other out.
Very good point.
So I think maybe you watch too much Dragon Ball Z or something. I don't know.
Hey, listen, don't come for Dragon Ball Z, bruh. All right, I'm a big.
Hey, I got Dragon Ball Z everywhere.
I know. I'm a big. Someone made me a Super Saiyan W.A.D.E Gohan 2. I got the poster somewhere, so shout out Dragon Ball. But
what do you mean W.A.D.E? It's you?
Yeah, they made my face on the Super Saiyan Cell Saga Gohan. Yeah, dude, that's the best Gohan, bro.
My friend just made this for me. This is one of a kind. He just made it for me. I was like, yo, that's dope.
That's tight. Yes, yeah. Dragon Ball is amazing, of course. Something I wanted to ask you, and we spoke a bit about this in the beginning. I wanted to come back to it. People overlook you to a degree that, quite frankly, to me is baffling because I recently did a breakdown on your boxing, and that'll be out by the time this interview comes out. And I was thoroughly impressed with the little intricacies that you've picked up in the time since the Fuzi, and obviously, Fuzi dropped you with the headgear on. And a lot of people point to that without really giving you the credit of understanding the weight advantage that was there and the fact that you were having your way in that spar until that point, in my opinion. Why is it, do you think, people latch onto that and hold on to it and discount all these other intricacies that are on camera? And again, I'm going to show that. Why do you think that is, that people are overlooking you like that?
I think that, that's what Deji has latched onto, and, so then his fans also latch onto it. Since he's talked about it so much, his fans are locked onto that. Even though it was years ago, it was my first spar ever, they're just they're like, oh, you got knocked out by this guy, and then it didn't help that Fuzi has the worst loss in freaking YouTube history. So I was like, no. Yeah, we were supposed to have a rematch, and then he said he would never rematch me again because his nose. He's like, he messed up his nose, and I was like, oh, you so lucky, man. It was 2 weeks before his fight, and he's one of my best friends. So how am I not supposed to take it easy? You can see in the first round, I'm not laying into shots. I'm barely tapping him, just touching him, because I'm not gonna injure him before the fight. And then I guess he got frustrated and
came after you. Bull in the China shop, man. He came after you. But yeah, no, I wanted to make sure because I think a lot of people have their opinions based off things that they don't really understand the timeline of. So I would say to those people, watch what happens next, because I've seen Alex grow to a degree that's, quite frankly, super impressive. And again, it's mostly been off camera, but there's little bits and pieces, and I think people are going to be surprised. But instead of them being surprised, why don't you give us not a prediction, but a spoiler for Fight Night? And again, I'm not going to have you tell me any kind of game plan stuff, anything like that. That's obviously for you and your camp. But on Fight Night, Alex Wassabi, Deji, you walk into that ring, packed stadium. They're saying your name. The bell rings. You touch gloves. What happened?
I think I think he's going to come out full force. He's going to just be swinging, hands down, swinging hard, head turned, and he's just going to be looking for the lucky knockout. I think that he knows that if he doesn't get me in the first, second round, which he won't, but I know he knows that if he doesn't, then it's over.
Things should something be different, right? You guys obviously prepared for a full, continuous fight. Obviously, in case that is not the case, you don't want to make sure that Deji is necessarily ready to go, and sure, he comes out and like a bull in a china shop, you guys are ready for that, but you're also ready for the full.
You know what I wouldn't be surprised that happens? I think interviews are gonna start coming out. Maybe some sparring footage might get leaked by somebody, or he's gonna start seeing stuff and he's gonna start realizing, oh, I did underestimate this guy. Uh-oh, what am I gonna do? I've been making fun of this kid forever, and I can't lose to him. And people are like, oh, I'm gonna have all the pressure. I've been doing YouTube forever. I've done shows in front of 20,000 people. I've been hosting at colleges. I played basketball, celebrity basketball games, so many in front of tens of thousands of people. I'm used to being in front of people. I think he's gonna feel the pressure from realizing that he really cannot lose to me. I'm the number one person in the world that he would hate to lose to. And I think my prediction is that he somehow pulls out of this fight. I think that he's either gonna fake an injury, he's gonna say he got COVID too close to the fight, he's gonna. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if he didn't even fake an injury. He really injured himself. Like, he sprained his ankle on purpose so that he could get out of this, because he's gonna realize that he needs more time, and this is his last chance. So if he takes his chance now, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. So for anybody watching, I'm gonna need a backup opponent just in case this happens. So have you been training?
That's a great. I have been training. I've been training my my ankle to make sure that it's good from surgery. We just got out of surgery like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I love it though.
Yeah,
you know what?
I mean,
Let's talk about this though. Should and this is obviously worst case scenario. We don't want this to happen for the event, but should Deji fall out of the event for whatever reason, or and maybe I should say when you win this fight. Who is that name that you're looking to? Because it is Deji in front of you now, and I'm not saying look over him, but is there any other name in the back of your head? Is there somebody from the U.S. even, not just UK, anyone that you would like to share the ring with?
I mean, I'm not really into the beef stuff. I just want to fight. I just want to compete. I just want to get in the ring. So I don't have much beef with anybody, but I want to box for the rest of this year. Like, I want to dedicate this year of my life to boxing, straight boxing. And that's it. I just want to train, recover, wake up, sleep, eat, boxing. So whoever wants it this year, I'm down. Let's
Come
go.
and get it. Come and get it, he says.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple more for you, Alex, before we head out of here. And I should have asked this earlier, but I wanted to get your thoughts. You were talking about the training that you're doing leading up. You're talking about the ability to get better in a long period of time and sometimes in a shorter period of time. I had heard, and maybe this is something you can correct me on, that you and Temper have had a couple of sessions together. Talk to me about what it's meant to train with some of the other fighters from the U.S. on this card, and give me your thoughts on what phase Temper is going to do in that ring with King Kenny.
I show up to train with him, and we're going to spar, and I was like, this is a big dude.
He's a tall boy. He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's like, I mean, like, he walks around like 190, 195 pounds. He's fully tatted. He's 6'4", 4 inches taller than me. And I'm like, yo, all right, let's do it.
Right.
So he's a tough dude. And he's been doing, I mean, I might be wrong, but I know he said Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu,
Yeah. He has like a ton of background, capoeira, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, he's got a lot.
Yeah. And you could tell because, like, when he's in that ring, he's confident. And, like, I'm confident too, but... Like, he's a big dude, so I'm just like, okay, here we go. I'm not used to being the small dude in the ring. Usually I'm the bigger guy. Usually I have the reach. So it's been really interesting to see what Deji's going to be seeing. So I'm like, oh, I can see, like, oh, this is what he's going to be dealing with. This is what's going to frustrate him because this is frustrating me. Mm-hmm. This is what he's going to have to get around. So it's cool to see his perspective of, I mean, what it's going to be.
Right.
But... I don't know much about the guy that Temper is fighting, but I think he's smaller than me.
He is a bit of a reach disadvantage to Temper, although Kenny does have an abnormally long reach for his height. And
how tall is he?
I think he's around 5'11". I think 6 feet flat.
Oh, okay.
But I want to say he is he's not to be overlooked. He is.
Yeah.
Like I've said about you, I thought he's improved in a short amount of time pretty quickly. But if you had to, just based off of what you've seen from Temper, what would your prediction be for fight night? Team US, what are you thinking?
Oh, I think me and Temper both got it. I think he's going to get the win first, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to end Deji.
End Deji, he says.
I'm telling you, Temper is a beast.
Yeah.
You're going to be surprised. I was surprised. Because, like, I'd never really seen anything from him until we got in the ring, and I was like, yo, you're good. Like,
good.
You're a beast, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Team US taking over, man. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Alex Wassabi, do you have any final words for all of your fans out there, for everybody that's going to be tuning in? Make sure you're buying those tickets, by the way, for March 5th. Any last words for Deji, one, and for your fans? Go ahead, Alex.
Last word for Deji is, come on, man. Just show up. Just do the work. Don't stop a couple seconds before every single workout. Just please be a challenge. Please train. Please do what you gotta do. Eat your meal preps. Take your supplements. Do what you gotta do. Do the run. Do the road work. Come on. Show up. And to my fans, I'm excited to show you guys what I can do, what I've been working on. And to my number one fan, my little brother, ever since he was born, I realized that I knew what I wanted to be. So I'm 12 years older than him. When I was 12, he was born, and I had a big part of taking care of him growing up. And I used to fake being sick from school just so I could hang out with him as a baby. And I'm like, oh, look, he's a baby. And so ever since he was born, I realized the number one thing I wanted to do was be a dad and a husband. And I was like, oh, this is what I want. That's what I want. Everything else, YouTube, boxing, whatever other hobbies I do, it's more just my whole life is a side quest until I can become a dad. And so to my little brother, I know you're watching this, my purse is going to go to your college fund. He's about to go to college. So whichever college you want to go to, I got you, bro.
That's amazing. That is, and like you said, it's a perfect way to end this interview because it shows, Alex, this is on a personal level for me to you, it shows I'm a big family guy too. I have 3 brothers, and to be able to be in a position like you are, obviously it's an inspiration to a lot of your fans, obviously to your brother, to me as well, because at the end of the day, family is 100% most important, and you putting that out there and you know, making sure that that's done for your brother, it's amazing, man. I hope a lot of people watch that and take some inspiration because, quite frankly, I have in these 20 minutes. So, thank you, Alex. I appreciate it. Folks, get those tickets on March 5th. There will be a link in the description for that. Thank you, Alex, for coming on here, man. Good luck to you in the main event. Folks, there it is. Alex Wassabi. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good one.
All right. See you soon.
All right, so there you have it. Alex Wassabi basically saying, I'm getting so good, I am preparing at a level that Deji has no idea. So when he finds out, he is going to find a way to pull out of this fight. There's a lot of things being said. This won't be the end of it, though, because as one half of the main event gets to talk, so does the other. So what happens on March 5th? Alex has said his piece. What does Deji think? I don't have those answers right now, but stay tuned because we will find out on the next episode, The Road to Showstar.